Welcome back to Crypto Future again, guys. Got a follow-up video from one I made yesterday. Uh, got some breaking news from Eleanor Tourette, and this is something again I touched on in yesterday's video, if you recall. Um, U.S. House Republicans push for crypto oversight with bill to make SEC play ball. Draft legislation from key committee chairs represent this year's most significant proposal for how the House government might build guardrails around the digital asset sector. Crypto exchanges would gain a path to registration with the U.S. SEC and Exchange Commission, and would be able to trade digital securities, commodities, and stablecoins all in one place under a proposal from the Republican chairs of the two House of Representative committees trying to hash out a bill. And the most significant crypto oversight proposal Congress has come up with this year, the proposed legislation would check a lot of boxes the digital asset sector uh, is clamoring for. But the draft bill released Friday by the leaders of the House Financial Services Commission and Agriculture Committee. I told you guys about this meeting yesterday. I said this was happening and was being overlooked, right? I told you it was going to be bigger than people were paying attention to. Um, Including the SEC's ongoing power to determine which assets are securities that would remain under the agency's authority on the most. So we would have clarity. Gary would not be allowed to run around going anymore, going, "Oh, Algorand's a security, XRP's a security, AMP is a security, this, that, and the other." He couldn't just go around picking and choosing and just trying to throw them into little backdoor lawsuits to try to say that they're securities. That's done if this bill passes. One of the most urgent questions: how to tell what's a commodity and what's a security. The discussion draft says any of the regulated firms handling a token or cryptocurrency can make a case that the assets are commodities. So basically, the companies can make a case for, like Algorand. They can come out and say, "This is why we're a commodity, not a security," and they can put it out there and get an actual uh, clarity and determination that it is a commodity, right? No more of this BS. Um, uh, and the SEC can challenge that claim and it can produce a detailed analysis demonstrating. So the SEC would have to. They could argue it if, say, hypothetically, Algorand said we're a commodity, not a security. Then the SEC could present a detailed analysis of why they think that it is a security, not a commodity, but they would actually have to prove it. They'd have to put in the work. They couldn't just point at it and say, "You're a security," and that's Gary's opinion, and Gary thinks his opinion is law. That will be done. This is extremely bullish, guys. It cannot be overstated. For some crypto platforms, though, the designations of which bucket assets each asset fits into could become less important because the SEC registered crypto exchange labeled as an alternative trading system would have the ability to set up trading in stable coins and commodities, so we would be able to retain the ability to have and use stable coins as well, because we need that. We need stablecoin regulation as well. As long as they also register with the Commodities Futures Exchange Commission. For the CFTC, the draft bill would set up a new category of registered businesses, a digital commodities exchange where certified crypto commodities would trade. The new exchanges would have to comply with the agency's usual protections, including full segregation of customer assets, so no commingling assets and stuff like that. It's basically what is going to be the CFTC would be in charge of making sure that there is none on the exchanges. Um, as U.S. oversight currently stands, both the SEC and CFTC have been waging an enforcement battle against crypto companies, including some of the largest trading platforms and any crypto connected rule efforts. The SEC has moved towards dramatically restricting crypto ties to the transitional financial system, while the SEC Chair Gary Gensler insists that the existing securities laws are sufficient, the legislation would force his hand into modernizing the regulations for crypto. So they're going to force him. They're going to force him to say, they're going to force him to come to the table and say, you're not playing by these rules that are almost 100 years old anymore and trying to apply them to digital assets. It's not happening anymore. But as a product of negotiations between Rep. Patrick McHenry, the chair of the financial panel, and Rep. Glenn Thomas, the chair of the Agriculture Committee, this bill doesn't yet represent the needed input from the Democratic counterparts. It's a discussion draft, so it's just a discussion draft right now for this bill, right? It's going to be amended more and more, but this is what we've been waiting for, them to start putting in the work on this stuff, guys. Here are some proposals, other key features. Okay, number one, token projects that are aiming for treatment as commodities would have to go through certification process with the CFTC, so they basically have to register with the CFTC, and Gary would have to leave them alone. While the agencies work out the joint regulations, the legislation says that existing crypto assets would be free from enforcement actions, safe harbor that would allow firms and investors to keep trading during what would be potentially lengthy wait for the SEC CF. So everything wouldn't be held up, kind of like what's going on with XRP right now on exchanges in the US. They're just not listing it because everything's just kind of put on hold till this lawsuit ends, right? Broken dealers would also be able to take custody of crypto assets, broker dealers, and issues, and the agency is already trying to work out with the recent proposed rule to determine registered investment advisors. So basically what they're saying here is like the exchanges, they're trying to protect the exchanges as well, right? As long as they register and they're playing by the rules, again, no commingling funds, funds backed one for one kind of thing, things of that nature, right? Again, just one more thing that Gary can't attack, right? This guy's gonna go down as the biggest joke in American history for bureaucrats, in my opinion. The House Republicans are also calling the studies of decentralized finance, DeFi, and non-fungible tokens, which suggest that regulation of those parts of the crypto economy may be pushed further down the road. So basically, regulation for DeFi and NFTs, basically, that's going to come later, a regulation on that stuff. Right now, they're trying to lay the groundwork, basically, to get Gary out of here, right? So that he can't harass. They're trying to create a path for these projects to register with either the SEC or the CFTC, which most of them won't register the CFTC because most cryptos are not securities, but there are some that are, right? But that's what they're focusing on right now. Once we get this in and we kind of handcuff Gary, then they'll start working on the regulation on DeFi and NFTs, right? So one step at a time. This is huge. At this stage, the legislation doesn't include any appropriations, meaning the SEC and CFTC aren't giving a new heap of cash. They're not being given a new heap. Basically, they're not being funded any further for this. Neither department, the SEC or the CFTC, they're not getting increased budgets or anything like that right now, because what they're doing is not appropriate and it's a waste of money, in my opinion. The bill now becomes part of a much larger negotiation, not just with House Democrats and the Senate, but also over how it fits with the other major congressional crypto effort this year. The House Financial Services Committee dueling drafts of stablecoin bills, one from each party. Lawmakers from both sides have said that dealing with the oversight of stablecoins, which are typically dollar-pegged tokens that U.S. regulators have said pose wider financial stability worries. Yeah, for the banks, because they don't want exchanges giving us higher interest rates, because the bank will give you 0.001%. That's the problem here. There is no regulatory issue with stablecoins outside of the fact that it threatens the banks because we're getting more interest by keeping our money in a USDC or something and getting a higher interest rate rather than leaving it in a bank where they lend your money out and then they tell you they don't have it anymore when they go under, and now apparently they're asking you to bring them invoices and proof of what you're spending your money on, and so that they can determine whether you can have access to your money or not. I don't think so. So anyway, guys, that's the update. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a little bit long, but this is the kind of stuff that matters. This is massive. This is what we're waiting for mass institutional adoption, right? So this is amazing. Keep up the good work, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a like. Greatly appreciated. Shoot me a subscribe, join the family. And if you have any request videos, put them in the comments down below. And see you guys in the next one.